Good morning, everyone. This is the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority Full Board Authority meeting, Friday, September 17th, 2021. First, we'd like to do a call to order. So Executive Coordinator, Mr. Bevo, would you please do the roll call?
Good morning, everyone. Beginning with Member Beatty. I see him there. I understand Member Brady is not able to attend. Member Brady, are you here? Member Clark?
I'm here.
Member Kuhn-Peterson is attending late. Member Kuhn-Peterson, I'm presuming you're not online yet. Member Quidland?
Present.
Member Fior is absent. Member Foster?
Present.
Member Halinga?
Present.
Member Hewson?
Present.
Member Ingrail? Member Kidwall?
Present.
Member McKenzie?
Member McKenzie sent his regrets.
My apologies. Member Metcalf is also not able to attend. Member Rapley?
I'm here.
And Member Shurton sent his regret. Member Smith?
Yes.
Member Steele?
Here.
Member Woodhouse?
Present.
Member Rice?
Here.
We have.
I'm sorry, Grant, I didn't hear the rest of that.
Sorry, we have 13 people in attendance.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And because we have no vice chair today, Member McKenzie is out of province. I would like to ask our former vice chair, Diana Hewson, Member Hewson, to take the vice chair position for just today. If anyone has any concerns or questions about that, speak up now. I don't believe we need to vote for this. It's just to turn the chair over when I want to make comments or questions. Okay. So the Niagara Peninsula watershed is located on the traditional territory of Indigenous peoples dating back countless generations. We want to show our respect for their contributions and recognize the role of treaty making in what is now Ontario. In recognition of National Day of Truth and Reconciliation this month on September the 30th, the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority commemorates the residential school victims, honors the survivors, their families, and their communities. This day is for all Canadians to create bridges with each other for reconciliation. We hope to continue building on our shared responsibility to take care of people, the land, its resources, and all creatures we share in with it. Can I ask everybody to please mute themselves before we continue? Thank you. So now we're at the new portion of our board meeting where we put the names to the faces. Last meeting, we met with the good folks in the watershed planning. This month, we meet those working in Corporate Services Department. Our own Director of Corporate Services, Lise Gagnon, will be introducing her staff for us today. Good morning, Lise.
Good morning, Madam Chair. We appreciate the opportunity to introduce our awesome corporate services team to the board. We number 13 in total, including myself. One individual is on vacation in Jeff Vercade's team. So I'll get this started, although you know me after 2 years. I'm Lise Gagnon, Director of Corporate Services. I will ask staff that as I call your name, please bring up your video, unmute, introduce yourself, and give us a brief description of your role. Kathy, we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm Kathy Coverdale. I'm a credentialed accountant in the business and financial analyst role. I've been with the organization a little less than 2 years. And what I've been mainly working on since I have been in the role is implementing the monthly budget so that users have the monthly budgets as well as just annual, and the distribution of monthly operating statements. In 2020, I implemented the Asset Manager program, and this year I've been working on implementation of additional citywide modules, the salary plan, operating plan, and reporting modules. So last week, we were happy to go live with the operating plan for the rollout of the 2022 budget.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, next, I believe some of you know Eric Gervais, but I will, Eric, you wanna, you're up.
Thank you. Unfortunately, my camera's not working, so you can't see my beautiful face.
Aw,
My name is Eric Gervais. I'm the Procurement Specialist here at the NPCA. I've been here for about 3.5 years. My primary role is to assist staff in procuring goods and services in according to our purchasing policy or procurement policy. And I also manage the NPCA standard offer agreements, service contracts, the corporate credit card program, asset surplus and redeployment, and fleet vehicles.
thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric. Tammy?
Good morning. I'm Tammy McGowan. I'm the accounting coordinator in the finance department. I've been here for just about 32 years, and I'm responsible for basically like the day-to-day activities in the accounting system, like accounts payable, receivables, cash receipts, the monthly bank reconciliations, the banking, and that's basically about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
She shortchanges herself. Tammy is a valuable, well, we all of my staff are valuable assets, but certainly Tammy's contribution is make sure we all get paid. Sunny, our newest board member, our newest team member is Sunny. So you're up now.
Everyone, thank you for having me today. My name is Sunny Shah. I'm an administrative assistant with Corporate Services. I've been here about 4 weeks today, so there's still a lot to learn. I work closely with Lee's, providing administrative support. Just a little background about myself. I'm a Brock graduate in finance, and my last employer was City of St. Catharines. I'm very excited to be part of the team, and I'm hoping to meet all of you in person sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome, Sunny.
Thanks, Sunny. Now I'll move on to Jeff Arcade. Most of you know Jeff. Please introduce yourself and present your team.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Jeff Arcade, and I appreciate the opportunity to introduce my team as well. My job title is Senior Manager of Integrated Watershed Planning and Information Management. I have formal education in Fisheries and Wildlife Management and GIS. I have an interesting portfolio, so I have information management and technology under my belt, GIS as well, restoration, and then integrated and watershed planning. I've been here about 20 years. So with that, I'd like to introduce Tara Gady, our watershed analyst.
Good morning, and thank you. My name is Tara Gady. I'm the watershed analyst. I've been with the NPCA for roughly 18 years in GIS and watershed planning roles. As of late, I've been supporting the integrated watershed management initiatives, primarily through research, analysis, and numerous mapping exercises. I also represent the NPCA on the Niagara Region Climate Change Modeling Project, as well as a binational research organization called OutSteps, which is through the University of Buffalo, and it brings stakeholders together to focus on sustainability in the Lower Great Lakes.
Thank you, Tara.
Yes, now I'd like to introduce Natalie Green, who is the Niagara River Remedial Action Plan Project Manager.
Hello, everybody. So I've been at the NPCA since 2017 as a project manager. I lead several projects within the scope of the Niagara River Remedial Action Plan program, and I work with a multitude of local partners to improve the Niagara River. Also, over the last year, I have worked with all of you in developing and leading the NPCA's new 10-year strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie.
I'd like to also introduce Heather Frank, who is Niagara River Remedial Action Plan Project Assistant.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I am Natalie Green's project assistant. I've been with the NPCA for about 2 years now. I'm currently helping Natalie with her remedial action plan by doing data collection, reporting, and different kind of stuff. Thanks.
Thank you. We sort of lost you at the very end, but it's so glad to see you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, moving over to restoration now, I'd like to introduce Steve Gillis, Restoration Specialist.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Steve. I've been with the authority for just over 16 years, with the majority of the time in the restoration department, with a brief stint in watershed planning. And as the restoration team, we're pretty much responsible for restoration as a whole and all things restoration at the NPCA. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks, Steve.
I will mention as well, Stuart McPherson, who couldn't be today, works closely with Steve as a restoration specialist as well. I believe Stuart's been around approaching 5 years, if not 5 years. But moving on, we also have Megan Lally in the restoration department. She is a restoration technician.
Yeah, hi, I'm Megan Lally. I'm the restoration technician. I've been in this role for 10 months as of yesterday, so it's going to be a year in mid-November, so that's exciting. I pretty much help Steve Stewart with the planning and implementation of restoration projects. I've been working closely with landowners to identify opportunities for restoration on their properties, and I've also been helping to develop a monitoring protocol just to sort of keep track of the progress of our projects as well. So thanks for having us.
Thanks, Megan.
And now moving on, last but certainly not least, we have Brian Lee, who is our GIS administrator.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Brian Lee. I'm the GIS administrator. I've been with the NPCA for about 3.5 years now. I am responsible for the design and maintenance of the NPCA service-oriented enterprise GIS system. That drives the following components, which I also have designed and maintained. So I'm responsible for all the data management related to the spatial information for the NPCA. I design and maintain all the GIS viewers for internal and public consumption. I'm also responsible for the design and the maintenance of the NPCA GIS Open Data Hub. And that's a tool that's used for the public to access and download all of our GIS spatial data. And I also design and maintain all the mobile field data collection apps that our field technicians use on iPads, iPhones, and other devices. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Brian.
That's my entire team.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Lise. Is that everyone now?
It is, but I see that Eric has his camera working now, so now we can see his face. Eric,
Yeah, I had some difficulties. Sorry.
Oh, you got to talk to our IT department here. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lise, and thank you everyone for corporate services for joining us this morning. You're more than welcome to hang in here and watch the rest of the meeting, but I'm sure you all would rather be doing something else. So feel free to leave the meeting at any time, but we really appreciate seeing you today. Thank you for spending 5 or 10 minutes with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have one last face to the name, and Chandra, would you like to introduce our newest staff member?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Chair Johnson. I'm really pleased to announce our new Manager of Strategic Business Planning and Public Relations, Rebecca Hull. Rebecca comes to NPCA from McMaster's DeGroote School of Business and has worked with Nature Conservancy and Conservation Halton in the past. She brings over 10 years of experience in required area of expertise that she will be helping NPCA with, and we are really pleased to have her. Rebecca, would you like to say hello?
Hello, thanks for having me today. I think I'm on day 5, so I'm learning a lot. Right now I'm a sponge, just absorbing as much as I can about the NPCA. So this is an opportunity to do that here as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rebecca, and welcome to the NPCA. I hope you enjoy your hopefully long and healthy stay with us. So thank you very much, Chandra and Rebecca. So now we're on to the agenda, folks. So we need an approval of the agenda, but before we do that, Mr. Bevo, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes at this point.
Oh, I thought we were switching around the foundation and CIO report at the end of the agenda.
I wasn't sure of that. They had mentioned that there was going to be no update, so whatever we do, we do.
Okay, thank you. So may I please have, we've got Member Beatty, seconded by Member Clark for the approval of the agenda. Is there anyone here opposed? Seeing none, thank you. Are there any declarations of interest? For those phoning in, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, so speak up. Try to speak up if you can. Okay, so we're moving on to the approval of the minutes. So it's the minutes of the full authority meeting dated July the 16th, and it's been moved by Member Cridlin, seconded by Member Foster to approve those minutes. Are there any questions, concerns, or opposition? Seeing none, thank you. If I'm going too quickly, folks, let me know. We've got a full agenda today, so I feel like I'm under the wire. We also have correspondence, and this is correspondence dated September the 1st, 2021 to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority from Anne-Marie Norio, Regional Clerk of the Region Municipality of Niagara. This is the memorandum CAO 17-2021 COVID-19 vaccination policy update. This is to receive, but if there are any questions or concerns, we can divert this correspondence to 8D, which is also speaking about the COVID-19 vaccination policy. So I am going, unless I hear anybody jumping up, it's been moved by Member Halinga, seconded by Member Houston, that we receive this correspondence. Any objections? Seeing none, thank you. We're on to discussion items. 8A is a report FA 5321. This is regarding the 2021 Ducks Unlimited Canada Wetland Restoration Partnership. Chandra, I'm going to turn this over to you because this was a last minute addition and I don't know who would be speaking to this if we had any questions or concerns.
Madam Chair, I will hand it over to Jeff, who is the manager.
Thank you. I didn't want to mess that up. Jeff, are you still with us today?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay. Did you want to give us a quick brief overview?
Sure, I can do that. I also have Steve Gillis here if there's any specific questions, who authored the report and works closely with Ducks to make this happen. But it is basically kind of an annual renewal of our standing partnership agreement with them, where we work together to co-fund some of the wetland creation projects that are come about through our grant program. So it highlights the projects for this year and puts them under the obligations under the agreement.
Thank you very much. And we'll put it on the table first. It's been moved by Member Ingrao. Welcome. John, we didn't catch you this morning with the roll call. We see you now. Seconded by Member Kwal. Are there any questions or concerns for either Steve or Jeff? Any opposition to approval? Nope. Thank you very much, Jeff and Steve. So now we're on to 8B. This is the report of the FA 5421. This is regarding the 2023 NPCA wedding facility rates. This is for approval because every year we do increase them a certain percentage, and this is a report as we do every year. So I'm going to call on our manager of conservation areas, Alicia Powell. So Alicia, is there anything you want to highlight in this report for us?
Good morning, Chair Johnson and Board. Thank you so much for having us. Staff are bringing forward this report today in order to provide and open up 2023 wedding dates and approved rates to our clients.
Sorry, Alicia, can you speak up a little bit? Because I'm seeing people leaning into their...
My apologies. So we're bringing
There we
forward
go.
the report today to open up 2023 wedding dates and approved rates to our clients. And this is due to comparable competition within the wedding industry locally doing the same, and due to a growing wait list, excitingly, for the 2023 wedding venue rentals, specifically here at Balls Falls. Noting the popularity of Balls Falls wedding venues, staff monitor our statistics and noting that within 2019, 70% of all of our bookings were made by watershed residents here within the Niagara Peninsula watershed. Annually, staff research opportunities for additional investments for the enhancements of our wedding facilities and our service offerings, and we're really looking forward to the 2023 wedding season.
Thank you very much. And to put it on the table, it's moved by Member Rapley, seconded by Member Smith. I see you're still online. Are there any questions, concerns? Any opposition to the approval then, please? Nope, seeing none. Thanks, Alicia. I'm going to let you stay in here for a minute because we also have for 8C Report number FA5521. This is the Niagara Peninsula Aspiring Global Geopark Memorandum of Understanding. We also need to approve this. We'll put it on the table first, and it's been moved by Member Steele, seconded by Member Woodhouse. Alicia Powell, our Manager of Conservation Areas, is also here to give us a brief overview and answer any questions. Go ahead, Alicia.
Thank you very much, Chair. Staff are bringing forward this report today to seek board approval of a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the Niagara Peninsula Aspiring Global Geopark, which is moving forward with fantastic local initiatives and is on track currently to being designated by UNESCO as a global geopark, which is very exciting. This initiative supports inclusive, sustainable tourism across the peninsula and recognizes this place as a geological, indigenous, and culturally significant area.
Thank you. So it's been already moved and seconded. Are there any questions, concerns? Okay, I'm going to be looking for approval now. Anybody opposed to approving the MOU? Seeing none. Thank you very much, and thanks, Alicia. So our last report under discussion items is report number FA5621. This is the COVID-19 vaccination policy. We also need to approve, and our Manager of Human Resources, Misty Ferrucci, is here. I think I didn't see you earlier. Misty, where are you? There you are. Thank you, Misty, for joining us today. So it's been, to put it on the table, it's been moved by Member Wright, seconded by Member Beatty. And Misty, go ahead. Brief overview, please.
Sure. I think, thank you, Chair. I think we're all up to date on COVID and on vaccination. And so we brought this report forward based on development. So we know through the region of Niagara and City of Hamilton have both passed similar policies. And with the direction guidance coming through public health based on concerns that our staff have brought forward in doing a survey regarding returning to the workplace, we felt bringing forward a recommendation for the development of a policy for your endorsement would be a great idea. So looking for any questions or concerns that you may have.
Okay, opening it up for questions or concerns, please. Wow, this is a quiet board today. Thank you. So it has been rightly moved and seconded. No pun intended, Brian. Any opposition? Seeing none, thank you very much. And thanks, Misty, for joining us today. Now we're on to the Strategic Planning Committee. This is to approve or to receive the minutes of the Strategic Planning Committee meeting dated July 16th. And it's been moved by Member Clark, seconded by Member Cridlin. Any questions or concerns? Any opposition to approve them or to receive them? Seeing none, thank you. So now we're on to the Finance Committee. Member Metcalf is not with us today. I believe he's the chair of this committee, but Lise Gagnon does have a few items here that we need to approve as a board. So first, we're going to receive the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting. This is dated July 28th, 2021, and it has been moved by Member Foster, seconded by Member Halinga, to receive the minutes. Any opposition to receiving? See none. Thank you. Now we're moving on to some items in the financial report. I'm going to turn this over to Lise Gagnon, our Director of Corporate Services. So this is a report FA 4821, Financial Report Q2 2021. This is to receive, actually, but I think Lise wants to highlight some things. Go ahead, Lise.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I typically do, I'll give you some broad, high-level sort of notes on the second quarter operating and capital position for 2021. So when it comes to, I'm referring to Appendix 1, which are the operating highlights. So revenues, bottom line variance is not material. It's only $1,264. I'd like to call attention to park operations. Revenues are exceeding targets by 6% as of the end of June. And you should know that July and August have been tremendous, so that we will have a favorable variance as of year end. When it comes to expenses, the positive variance against budget of 18%. Variances, so basically underspent variances of note. There are some delays in filling vacant positions, which represents about $490,000. The impact of COVID continues to plague our expenses, although it's driving a positive variance of 120,000, and the residual is that of timing and calendarization, so that there will be it will self-correct by the end of the fiscal year. Moving on to Appendix 2 for capital. To summarize, so board approved capital projects carried forward from last year was 1.884 million. 2021 board approved projects for the current fiscal year is 1.8, for a total capital volume for the 2021 fiscal year of almost 3.7 million. Total project spend as of the end of June, which is halfway through the fiscal year, is 1.9 million, which represents 51%. So our completion rate is in line with expectations. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, I just, I think I've got down Member Foster, Member Halenga, second by Member Halenga to receive lease presentation. So any opposition? Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear who that was.
It was Mel.
Thank you. Member.
Sorry, I was muted and then I got in late for the question. My question.
No worries. Member Woodhouse, go ahead.
Thank you. I love the report.
Can I just remind everybody to please mute yourself? Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Member Woodhouse, I was getting a lot of feedback there.
That's okay. The report is great and the numbers are great. Is there anything of concern that you would see moving through the year that we should be aware of, or any flags that are appearing? Thank you.
Lise?
Through you, Madam Chair, I don't see anything, Member Woodhouse, at this point that causes me any concern. Certainly the variances are positive, and you know, that can speak to a lack of planning. But in this case, given the challenges with COVID and the volatility of some of the expenses that COVID has sort of brought along, I would say that we're actually in a very good position, and we're able to manage. And we've still managed not to lay anyone off. So that's great. We've come through COVID in a good way at this juncture, and I wouldn't have any concerns at this point in time.
Thank you,
Member Woodhouse. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Lise before we receive her presentation? And I stand corrected. It's moved by Member Houston, second by Member Hungreo to receive Lisa's presentation. Any opposition? Seeing none, thank you. So now we're moving on to report number FA 4921. This is the 2022 operating and capital budget assumptions, and we need to approve this. So it has been put on the table by Member Kaywall, seconded by Member Rapley. Any questions or concerns for the operating and capital budget assumptions? Go ahead, Member Foster.
Yeah, so and good discussion going through in this particular area. My question back through to Lise and to Chandra is, has there been any, I guess, ideas floated back at you from Niagara region as to what they're expecting in areas?
Thank you. Chandra or Lise?
Lise, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to offer to take this. Through you, Chair, to Member Foster. We have received budget guidelines from Niagara region. We typically do in about June. So they have given us some guidance from an operating standpoint of 2% is the increase that they expect to see going forward for 2022. We have not received anything yet from Hamilton, which is not unusual. We usually get that in mid to late October. And Haldeman, because we're such a small part of their business, they've typically deferred to the other two municipalities and follow that sort of scenario that's for the other two municipalities. Is that generally what you were looking for, Member Foster?
Member Foster, you've got the chair.
Yeah, well, I've got the speak, not the chair. You have the chair.
Okay, you can have the chair. Go ahead.
No, I don't want the chair. Yeah, no, I'm very interested in this, and I know what it's stating. What I'm trying to figure out. Discussion points have already gone on at Niagara region that this is going to be a fascinating budget year. And I suspect whatever it is that's been stated, and you know, the 2%, we need to be thinking through very carefully where we're at with budget. There could be tightening that's coming into play as we're approaching the end of the year. So just I want to sort of throw that little red warning flag up there, just as we're looking at the overall budget this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
If I may comment, Madam
Go
Chair.
ahead.
We typically, once we have a first pass budget, which is due into finance on the 1st of October, we typically meet, Chandra and I, with municipal staff and sort of have a conversation about the proposed budget. And that conversation often leads to, so they give us some insights and understanding of where where Niagara region might be coming in. So we're looking forward to those conversations and typically do occur.
Thank you, Member Foster. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none. So again, it's been moved by Member Kaywall, seconded by Member Rapley. Any opposed? Thank you. Now we're on to the banking policy, and this is to be approved. Are there any questions or concerns about the banking policy? We'll put it on the table. It's been moved by Member Smith, seconded by Member Steele. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, hearing none. We're on to the report FA 5121 investment policy, and this is also to be approved. We'll put it on the floor. Member Woodhouse and seconded by Member Wright. Are there any questions, concerns about the investment policy? Oh, go ahead, Member Cridlin.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just a kind of a minor thing at this point, perhaps. I'm not familiar with this policy from the past, but going forward in the environment of climate change or climate action, it does mention that there is investments with the top 6 banks. Again, not knowing the materiality, but is there a way to signal our preferences to making sure that we are only investing or at least reviewing the investments that we have against a climate lens and choosing those accordingly. So I just put it out there. It's probably minor at this time, but I think it's, given the work we want to be doing in the future, that might be a consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Lise, any comment?
Certainly. Through you, Madam Chair, I'd like to sort of give you some comfort level that staff is giving due consideration to including criteria in both. So we'll be going to RFP for banking services by the end of this fiscal year. And we want to make sure that the criteria in the RFP will include an evaluation on green and environmental corporate stewardship, so that recognizing that we may not have all of the information to be able to determine exactly the level of investment each one of the banks might have in initiatives that are not green, if you will. That being said, we're also looking at the cost benefit ratio of investigating everything at that level. So whatever information we have will be brought to bear, and there will be some criteria in the RFP related to green initiatives and corporate stewardship for environmental efforts.
Thank you. Member Cridlin?
No, thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Good question. So it has been moved by Member Woodhouse, seconded by Member Wright, to approve the investment policy. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, thank you. The next report is to receive, this is report number FA 522021. This is the contract award update from Montague Construction Limited, Bimbrook Septic System. Due to the size of this project and the cost, the Finance Committee directed the Director of Operations, Adam Christie, to update this board on a monthly basis. So I'm going to turn this over now to our Director of Operations, Adam Christie, to give us a brief update on the Bimbrook Septic System and how are things going.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
There he is.
Pleased that the project has been initiated. Over the last couple of weeks, we've sent out letters to all residents within the area to notify them of the project. And as far as things go, we're looking to have this project completed by the end of the year. So cross our fingers, and I'm happy to ask any questions about the status of the project.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad you sent out letters to the residents. There's going to be a lot of dump trucks coming in with a lot of sand, and they're going to be questioning why they're using those routes. So, are there any questions or concerns for Adam at this time? Seeing none, it's been moved by Member Beatty. Sorry. Member Halenga, go ahead.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Thank you. We have quite an increase in the cost of this phase of the project. And just a question about what we are proposing to do for when we will have to do the second phase or the expansion of this, and recognition that we will need to increase that budget significantly as a result of the costs of this phase.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Through you, Madam Chair, we feel that this project being completed is going to be all that's needed for this project for our septic system for the foreseeable future. It addresses all the concerns of the current services that we have, so we don't anticipate a second phase needed for quite some time.
Thank you. Member Halenga?
No, that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or concerns? So to receive Adam's presentation, it's been moved by Member Beatty, Member Clark, second by Member Clark. Any opposed? Seeing none. Thank you, and I'd like to welcome Member Kuhn-Peterson, who has joined us during this meeting, by the way. She'll be moving the next motion. Are there any notices of motion? And Member Halenga, you can mute yourself again, please. Thank you. Is there any motions? There is none. So under new business, we're going to go to the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Foundation update. So Member Foster and Member Cridlin, even if you just want to say no update at this time, that's fine. We just want to keep you in the slot here for the next month as well.
I can so drop a couple of things out. So first of all, from the foundation point of view, we're having some changeover within it. Gail Wood, of course, who everybody knows on this board. Gail is retiring from our foundation board, and her last meeting, I believe, is our one in December. As well, Mary Serginese, who really put us on to a good line of work within the foundation, is also, she has stepped away, and it had nothing to do with the foundation. There was personal reasons. But she decided she wished to step away. We have Mike Balsam has come on as a new foundation committee member. Mike has a strong reputation within Niagara, and also his wife is also the executive director of the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, so it's a strong connection into a wide variety of areas. We're continuing to work on our relationships with our various partners, Bench Brewing, Calamus Winery, and a few of these groups. And now that things are quote unquote opening up a little bit more, although who the heck knows how long that's going to be, we are looking at doing a variety of differing programs with it. And the other thing is that Andrea, our executive coordinator, Andrea actually resigned. She got a job with another organization. It was very, very good for her, and we were very. We really appreciated all the work that she had done to organize us into a variety of things with the foundation as well. And she's going to do very, very well in the new group that she's going into. And from that, we've also had various discussions going on between Chandra and Tom and Brenda on some next stages with the foundation that we want to go into, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that back for our next full authority meeting. So thank you very much.
Super. Thank you very much, Member Foster. So it has been moved by Member Kuhn-Peterson, seconded by Member Cridlin, to receive Member Foster's update. Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. So now we go on to the CAO update. So our CAO, Chandra Sharma. Any updates for the public consumption, please?
Thank you, Chair Johnson. Yes, there are a couple of things that I would like to update the board on. First of all, I would like to start with the strategic plan. It's going really well, and we have reached our final milestone. We thank all those who participated in the strategic planning virtual public information session on August 19th. Over 70 people were in attendance. Several board members and public advisory committee members also participated. The input received from community partners, Indigenous groups, and other local stakeholders was essential in shaping the new 10-year strategic plan that reflects the needs and desires of the watershed community and also tackles the important emerging issues in our watersheds. We are hoping to present a draft strategic plan for approval by the Board of Directors in October, and it's being reviewed by our strategic planning committee right after this meeting. So really pleased, and I want to thank all NPCA staff who diligently work on this under Natalie Green, our project manager, her direction, and my involvement, and the direction of the strategic planning committee. So thank you all. It's a great teamwork, and it's coming along really well. Secondly, I would like to, question has been asked on COVID updates. As you've seen, financially, we are doing okay in terms of return to work. We are still coordinating a few things and looking at the provincial and public health guidelines. We're working on a vaccination policy. We will be coordinating and looking at other local partners, municipal partners, what they're doing. At this point, we continue to work from home and hoping to return, if we have all the policies in place, in a hybrid fashion in November, and full return in January if everything goes well and we don't see any changes in the numbers. So that's a little bit of update for you on COVID, and aligned with that, I think the board will continue to meet virtually at least until we have figured out how to accommodate board members at our conservation property where we meet at Balls Falls. Kathy mentioned, I'm really pleased to share that the new finance and budget management system was launched this month by our finance team with full staff training. This is another step forward towards modernizing the organization and automation of our processes. So I'm really pleased to see we are moving in that direction, and it's working really well. I also, next on my list is to update the members on the Wainfleet Bog. As you recall, there was a delegation at the board meeting in the summer. Following that delegation, I have met various stakeholders. Chair Johnson and I met with the Six Nations delegation. The meeting went really well. It was really productive. Following that meeting, we also met with the delegation that appeared at the board. Board directed us to work on two things, the terms of reference and restoration design for an option, interim option, and that's what we are working on. I'm really pleased to report that within a few months of the meeting, we have the terms of reference. Staff have prepared that. I'm reviewing it currently, and I will be talking to our Six Nation partners on that. And restoration design is going internally through staff review. So we're really moving diligently on that. And we've also met with the Eight Trees delegation. And I've also met with Nature Conservancy staff, and the meeting was very, very productive. So as a follow-up, I can tell you that the board direction is ongoing. The actions on board directions are ongoing, and we are working on that project. I also am pleased to share that NPCA, as an important stakeholder, was also invited this past week, 2 weeks back, to the Niagara Integrated Transit stakeholders consultation session. And I was really pleased to be invited because these are the things NPCA should be invited from the outset. So thanks to our partners, Niagara Region and local municipalities, for keeping us in mind. And we are looking forward to working with them on this important initiative. Next and final on my list is the Balls Falls Thanksgiving Festival. And I will ask Alicia Powell, Manager of Conservation Area Services, to provide a brief update on what's going on at the Balls Falls Festival this year. Alicia, over to you.
Thank you, CEO Sharma. NPCA staff are very pleased to be hosting a modified hybrid festival for the 47th annual Balls Falls Festival. We're bringing back our online store that you may remember from last year, which opened as of September 1st, with the sales of various products from a number of local craft and artisan vendors from across the region and beyond, as well as the delivery of advanced ticket sales and reservations for our in-person delivery. For the delivery of the in-person festival over the Thanksgiving weekend, we've substantially reduced our capacity by about 2/3 of our capacity seen in 2019, and have brought about a number of COVID-19 safety plans and procedures that have been reviewed and supported by Town of Lincoln bylaw and emergency management teams. We have on sale currently approximately 1,500 tickets per day over the course of the weekend. And on site, we'll see about 50 craft and artisan vendors. We'll see the delivery of acoustic entertainment, family entertainment, and of course, our village will be open and operating with historical demonstrations, and we'll be delivering heritage programming throughout the village, as well as see our farmers market return in person. Currently, all communications and advertising has focused on the need to provide advanced reservation, and this allows our staff to track and control capacity on our site and provide the opportunity for contact tracing as required. Staff are excited to deliver this modified festival and to support our watershed and our community, and we're looking forward to sustaining the momentum of this wonderful Niagara tradition as we head into 2022.
Thank you, Alicia. Madam Chair, that's all for us. We can take any questions on this update now.
Are there any questions or concerns about this update? Thank you, Alicia, for continuing to stay with us. Member Foster, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So I guess this is through to Alicia. Are you looking for volunteers for the weekend? I'm assuming you probably are. I know there's at least one person in my household I might be able to persuade to get involved.
So Member Foster has a voluntold for you. Do you need volunteers, ma'am?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Yes, we'll be looking for additional volunteers. Of course, to maintain our capacity on site, we're looking at reducing the number of staff, volunteers, and vendors across the board. And great appreciation to our volunteer coordinator, Carrie Royer, on our team. We have a wonderful set of volunteers who've come on board already, but we'd love to connect with a voluntold individual in your house for opportunities over the weekend.
Yep, thank you. And by the way, I know there's been a lot of discussion going on with various aspects of this recently. I want to thank you and Adam for all of that you've been doing on this. This is I personally, from a person in the town of Lincoln, I'm totally pleased on where you're going with this. So this is great. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you. So it's been moved by Member Foster, seconded by Member Halenga.
Chair Johnson, it's Member Smith. I do have a question.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chandra, in your CAO update on the Wainfleet bog, you did mention that you and the chair have met with Six Nations and 8 Trees. I think I got the name right. Their names slipped away from me now. But anyway, what I'm wondering is, although you said they were extremely productive, I'd be interested in hearing it. Is 8 Trees and Six Nations, because I know that originally when they presented to us, they were more or less not satisfied with the course of action that the NPCA was pursuing. Are we moving forward now lockstep? I mean, an extremely productive meeting is good, but are we still working towards getting together on this forward movement?
Thank you, Chandra. I can tell you right now that it was very productive. We've got a lot of issues that were cleared up. There was a lot of misconceptions that were cleared up, but I'll turn this over to Chandra to finish off. Go ahead, Chandra.
Thank you, Chair Johnson. I just want to clarify that after Chair Johnson and I met with Six Nation delegation, and it was a broader delegation to talk about our broader relationship with Six Nations, I also met with the entire team of 8 Trees, Bethany, who represents Six Nations, to talk about project steps. And this is to keep the line of communications open. And I think we had a very productive discussion, Member Smith, and we were all on board on the next steps that we laid out to proceed on that.
Yeah, there was a lot of agreement around the table. So go ahead, Member Smith. You still, I'm not going to say you have the chair now. You've got the floor.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I just, I wanted to hear how it would be characterized as if, you know, I wanted to make sure we're not moving forward opposed to each other, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's fine. Thank you very much.
Well, I can tell you that nobody moves forward if we're opposed to one another. We're only going to do it when we're together. So go ahead, Chandra.
No, as far as I can tell you, and staff were with me at that meeting, we all agreed to the next steps at the end of that meeting. We are moving ahead with that phase 2 now, and we will seek community input on the design. I promised them that. I have told them that we're working on the terms of reference, and Six Nations representative would like to chat with me on that. So I've offered that to them. So at this point, I have not seen any opposition to the next step in actions, and that's where we're going with this. Member Smith.
Thank you.
I can add in there, both Chandra and I have been invited to their house, if you will, because they were in our house for the first meeting. So that was our commitment, was to continue on meeting, not just have one meeting, and that was the end of it. Okay, so I have now got Member Foster, second by Member Halenga, to receive the CAO update. Any opposition? Seeing none. Thank you. So, folks, we are going to go in camera for a verbal update on enforcement and compliance. For the public, we are going to go in camera to get an update on enforcement and compliance files. This means we will adjourn when we come out of camera, and therefore will not resume live streaming. So I first off need a motion. It's been moved by Member
Chair Johnson, point of order.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm wondering the right way to do this. I understand we have to discuss it in camera, but I've had a lot of email from citizens. So can we list the cases that we'll be discussing so that citizens know that they are being discussed? Because if we go on camera and just say we're discussing compliance issues, compliance and enforcement issues, and citizens have particular interests and want to know that the NPCA is looking at things, if we just discuss it in camera blindly without listing the ones we're discussing, what assurances do they have that their area of interest is being considered?
So, Chandra, our CAO Sharma, are you comfortable with listing the addresses? We don't have to say what's happening with the files, just the addresses of the files. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will ask the clerk on this matter because, I mean, there's several issues that we would like to update the board on, and I just want to make sure the clerk can provide insights on this matter.
Yep, thank you. And I know at the City of Hamilton, we always put an address to the name. So go ahead. Member Houston, before Grant chimes in. Member Houston?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just a suggestion that if we do go into camera, we can then list them after to, and that gives the clerk time to figure out what the procedure should be.
Okay, well, let's go to clerk first to see whether or not he needs that time.
I mean,
Mr. Weaver.
actually, I think we can do it now. Generally speaking, we want to be as detailed as we can without disclosing anything confidential.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to necessarily identify specific files. We can identify them as issues. For example, if we were going in to speak about the Wainfleet bog, we could say Wainfleet bog without getting too detailed as to what it is. So
Okay.
it's that balance. And if we ask our director to do that, I think we should be safe.
I think that's a great idea. So unless there's any opposition, CAO Sharma, I'm going to turn this back over to you. If you can just highlight the topics that we are going in. Maybe not addresses, but as Grant suggested, Wainfleet Bog or whatever the titles are. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there are two items that I'd like to discuss requested by the board, and one matter that has been going on, and the planning and permitting matter that has been on the agenda is in regards to some permitting issues in Wainfleet along Lakeshore. And the other matter that is related to enforcement is Sulphur Springs Road in the town of Pelham.
Thank you. Member Smith, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's fine. Thank you.
No, and I appreciate it. I really do. We should have done right from the very beginning. So I have it right now that it is moved by, let me get my list here, Member Houston, second by Member Angreo, that the MPCA Board of Directors convene closed session at 10:27 a.m. in accordance with sections 10.1C of the Administrative Bylaw for a verbal update on litigation or potential litigation relating to enforcement and compliance issues, specifically to the Wainfleet properties abutting the lake and Sulphur Springs. So those are the two. So are there any opposition to going into? Seeing none. So for the public, I have already announced that we'll be adjourning when we come out. So we won't be going into web streaming. And for board of directors, please ensure that you're in a secure place. Doors closed, earphones on. If you're calling in, I think that becomes a little bit of a quandary for me because I don't know whether or not you are in a secure space.